It's your girl, Alicia Gosha-Page, and I want to welcome you to The Real Autism Podcast, where we share relevant, effective, actionable living strategies and solutions. I am excited about my guest today, Pastor Morrison. He is my pastor of my church, and so this is very special for me, and I want to welcome you to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. Glad to be here.
Awesome. So, I know you, but everybody else doesn't. So tell us about who is Pastor Morrison? Who is Eldrin Morrison?
Definitely. First of all, thank you for allowing me to come on your show today. You're doing some awesome, amazing work.
Thank you.
And I appreciate just viewing it as your pastor and just seeing what you're doing in the community. I'm Eldrin Morrison, and I pastor the Shaw Temple AME Zion Church, where I've been for the last 10 years. I began ministry early on in life, recognized the call to preach at 12 years old. And so this is what I've done my entire life. Started pastoring at 18, married with 2 children, so navigating life. But personally, I am a bookworm. I am a person that loves to study, loves solitude, and just loves interacting with people, getting to know them and learn what our community is doing.
That's awesome. I can't believe you were pastoring since 18.
18.
So you knew this from the start, that this is what you
all
wanted
I've
to
done.
do.
Yep, this is all I've done.
Well, as you know, because they're members of your church, Jasmine and Coleman are both autistic.
Yeah.
And so the spirituality, or my spirituality, has been important in my journey with autism. I mean, there have been some bumps in the road with it, because I'm not going to lie to you. I was like angry. I'm like, why would God put this on me? Like, I felt like I was a pretty decent individual. I was a good child, did all of the things. And then fast forward to now that I have this family, I have autism as a diagnosis. So one of the questions I want to ask you is, after I received the autism diagnosis, I struggled with why me, why my child, or in my case, why my children. So from a spiritual perspective, how do you help people process those initial hard feelings that we feel once we get the diagnosis?
Well, Jasmine and Coleman, your family's diagnosis is much like a lot of other diagnoses and a lot of other challenges that people have in life. And as a pastor, what I do is, first of all, I listen. And I try to then let folk know that what you're feeling is what you're feeling. And you don't have to be ashamed. You don't have to be afraid. You shouldn't feel bad to feel what you're feeling. It's a part of who you are at the moment. And it's real. So my role as a pastor is really just to listen, and then to help people to process and to kind of figure out what are those first steps that you're making. And then to assure them that, listen, we're here with you. We're a community with you. So whatever you need for us to be as a church family, as a community, we're going to do that. But mainly, I try to make sure that people know that God is big enough to take what you feel and to hear from you, and to not judge you based on what you're feeling. They are your feelings.
So like I opened up, I said, and it might have been after Coleman was born, is where I went through kind of like an angry phase, to the point, I grew up in church, did all of the things, but I withdrew. And I remember having a conversation with my mom where I said, I am really angry. I'm pissed off at God. And what she said to me was, Alicia, think about it. Think about your skill set. Think about what a fighter you really are. You were put in this position because you were the right person for the job. Imagine if you would have had somebody else who didn't have the skill set you had put in this job, they wouldn't have done such a great job. So in that I had that one person to kind of level set me and bring me back to my baseline. But I guess my question for you is it okay to be angry at God initially? And what do you do with that when you feel that anger towards God?
Thank God that you had your mom. That's what moms do.
Yeah.
They help you process and redirect you in things. That is specifically black moms. That's what they do. Been
Right.
doing it forever.
Right.
But yes, it is. It is certainly okay. I have reached a place in my own spirituality where I tell folk I am gut wrenchingly honest in my prayer to God. And I have come to understand that God is big enough and beyond be enough to take my raw emotions and what I'm feeling in the moment, and I can pray and be honest about it. Otherwise, I'm not being true to who I am, and I'm being inauthentic in my prayer. And we're not the first persons to have done this. We look at biblical examples of this, especially Job, dealing with all that he had. Great man, great family, all of these things. God takes everything from him and then takes his health. And so he goes to God and he's questioning God. And we're told, don't question God.
Right.
But God can take our questions. I mean, and God comes back to him and answers him. And in the end, of course, restores everything he has. And Job sees a different side of God. Even his friends see a different side of God and of Job. Job is being made a greater person through this process. And yes, we can be honest with God. We should be honest about our feelings. It's okay to be angry, and not just at the beginning, but it's stages of this. And I'm sure you've reached points where this anger becomes real again. I mean, it
Right.
resurfaces.
It does.
So, I mean, it's okay. It's who God is making you and shaping you in this whole process.
I think one of the key things that you said just then is being authentic in your prayer, in your treating it as a conversation. Because I think sometimes in the world of Christianity, for me, and when you are learning how to pray, you think it is a certain way. I gotta come with the intro and make it sound very biblical or prayer
thou
like.
and thee.
Right,
Yep,
right,
yeah.
right. So I'm like, listen, I don't know how to do all that.
Yeah.
I didn't go to theological
Yeah, you
school,
know.
but I just keep it simple and I have a conversation. And I think as I've become older, that's proven to work for me, because not only am I able to just talk naturally about how I feel as if it's a conversation, it has also opened my eyes to see when he responds. Because I think I was looking for him to respond in a certain way.
Audible voice. Or
Right.
Just,
But essentially, that's not what happened. Just as I was authentic in my prayer, he was authentic in his response.
That's powerful.
So that's kind of where I've gone in my spirituality as I continue to grow. And in this journey, though, like when you get that initial diagnosis, and with anything, so you don't have to just think what caregivers feel with autism, but I'm sure you've dealt with some of your members or friends or family that have gotten cancer or all kind of other news. You go through this grieving process. And is that, I mean, how does my faithfulness help me get through the grief?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does. It does. I'm thinking initially of, although we don't deal with a lot of it, the Book of Lamentations. It's a lament. It's a cry. It's a grief. There's a book, A Grief Observed, that deals with how you center yourself in this moment, although you're going through this lament, and what it does for you and for others watching you, that you don't even realize. But it's just as real as joy. We want to celebrate the joy and all of that, and that's great. But the other side of that is this grief and what we get out of it. And sometimes we don't allow ourselves to sit in it long enough to be able to realize the good that comes out of grieving.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And you know, because it's kind of like you grieve for what you imagine your life to be.
Yeah.
So I imagine my life to be taking Coleman to either football, basketball, Jasmine being his cheerleader, her being a debutante, all those things. Not to say that she can't. So to all of
Exactly.
my
Yeah.
autism caregivers out there saying, "Oh well, what you can't be those things." You can,
It
but
won't happen in the way that it happens for some others, or the way
Exactly.
that you thought it would.
Exactly. And if I'm being honest, it isn't easy either, because a lot of times you have to advocate within those spaces, within those organizations, for them to have the willingness to do things differently from the norm.
Yeah.
You know, so I guess that's okay. I guess that's what I'm getting at too.
Yeah.
That when you grieve what you thought it would be.
Mm-hmm.
But then you come back around, and I think what I've realized is the importance of having a strong mental strength.
Yes.
And resilience, being able to bounce back. Because to your point, you go through cycles. You get strong, and then
There are moments, yeah.
there are moments you come down and it's like, woe is me, and you go back up. And for me, I think I have the personality, or people view me as, Alicia, you're strong anyway. You can say anything. But that's
Strong
not
people have high and lows.
we have high and lows. So I think it is important to point out to the audience that mental strength, it impacts everybody, whether you're one that's a little bit more sensitive versus the one that's really hardcore. It still eats at your center that you can't control a situation, and you're having to navigate a journey that you didn't realize that you were going to be on.
Yeah.
So how can someone hold on to their faith and stay positive when their daily reality feels heavy and exhausting?
You know, I want to answer this question. I guess the honest way I answer this is, there have been so many times that I've wanted to give up faith, but I think my faith held on to me. And I think we go through things where we really want to give up, and we really could. But it's something in our faith that holds onto us and won't let us let go. So I would say having a strong enough base and foundation that won't let you go. I'd say it oftentimes that God would not let me go, kept coming back, or things come back to our mind. So the scriptures that we learned growing up, we learn them then, but they don't become real until we grow, until we have life, and
Right.
That's what it means.
Exactly.
The Lord is my light. I didn't know that till I got in this dark place, So I think it's the faith that won't let us go, even when we want to let go, or we don't know how to move from one point to another. It's that faith that teaches us that, listen, you're going to make it.
Right.
I don't know how. I don't know what tomorrow going to look like, but today we're going to get through this.
Yeah.
So I think it's the faith that won't let us go.
That's very true. One of the hardest moments for caregivers is praying for change and not seeing it.
Yeah.
How do you counsel someone who feels like their prayers aren't working, and how does that intersect with building resilience over the long haul?
Yeah, I
Because we want results now.
We want it right now.
It's like a microwave.
and it's not getting any better. It's just with every generation, we want it quicker and sooner and
Right.
immediate. Even before we pray, we want to make sure that God has already got the answer, and I just need to wait on my change to come. And it doesn't happen that way. I really am in this place now where I'm realizing that it's not so much that God needs to hear my prayer solution's already there. His will is there. But I need to hear my prayer. I think my prayer doesn't change who God is. But it does change me. It changes how I see things. It changes my perspective, and it changes how I wait. So I think it's more building my faith, and it's teaching me that I am dependent on God and not necessarily the outcome of the situation. My dependence is always on God. And if I've got God, what if the situation never changes? If I have faith in God and God is watching over me and protecting me and guiding me, then I'm going to make it through this. So I think that's the lesson that I've learned, at least, and that I try to help people understand even as we pray, that our prayers, yes, God hears and answers prayer, but don't neglect the fact that this prayer life and this prayer journey we're in, it also affects us. And we need to hear ourselves praying and realize where our strength really comes from.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about a sermon, and I should have watched it over before this for this podcast. You did a couple.
Maybe I should have too, because I don't know.
A couple of Sundays ago, it was about planting a seed.
Yep.
And how over time, you see the growth. And I think I don't know if you can talk to real quick, like some of the high points from that sermon, but that resonates with me because as a caregiver, we experience some rough times. And we're like, man, how we going to get from here to here? How we going to get from Jasmine being aggressive and being able to sit calmly over here? But I continue to work at it. And I realized when you were preaching that sermon how important it is to keep working at it and realize that you are planting a seed that needs time to grow. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. And let me just, while it's on my mind, I have to say things. Well, I really appreciate seeing your family in church. You don't know what a blessing it is to have Jasmine Coleman there, and I really appreciate their response and the reaction to the sermon, because sometimes I don't get no witness other than Jasmine Coleman. So I know, yes,
Jasmine. I'm like, I wonder if Pastor be hearing Jasmine make all that noise.
I do. I love it. I love it. But I think, and I didn't make, until you mentioned it, I didn't make the connection with the seed, the sowing and reaping, and caregiving. Wow. I think from the message, what blessed me about it was the reminder that you are sowing a seed in soil that you don't see what's going on with this seed. You really don't know. You're sowing it; it's beneath the surface. We're sowing in the dark. It has to really make its first steps in its growth in the dark, and where we can't see it. We just have to trust that what we planted is going to amount to a harvest. And what I learned is that you always sow smaller than what you reap. You're gonna always reap more than what you've sown. You've got to trust that process, though.
Trust the process.
Hey, and it's a season. This is a season that you're gonna sow in. You're not gonna reap in the same season that you've sown. You've got to just trust God to get to that next season. And caregiving is like that. You're sowing constantly every day, knowing that there's going to be a harvest. These routines, these patterns, what we're doing every day is going to have it's going to be a harvest. It's going to affect, and others are seeing it as well. And so you're going to always reap more than just Jasmine Coleman, what you're doing now, and to countless persons who are going to be encouraged through this ministry that's been birthed in and through you. The harvest is plentiful.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So I know you're active on social media. I
try to be.
Look at Pastor Morrison reposting and
I'm
liking
learning too.
And stuff. I see. So I don't know if you've seen, there's been a lot of talk about how churches respond to individuals that are autistic, because the truth of the matter is they can be disruptive.
Yeah.
Not all, because folks will be in the comments talking about, you talking about all the
You
autistic
know,
folk. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying they can't sometimes sit like a neurotypical person, or they may have a meltdown. It's an environment that
Yeah.
they are not comfortable with. And there have been stories of mothers mostly coming on social media crying because they were not received warmly at church. Some even being told, you know what, we think you should leave. What are your thoughts on that, and what counsel would you give your counterparts that are leading these churches on how they should embrace the neurodivergent population?
So I think first of all, I'm grateful for Shaw Temple, and some of the other churches I've had the opportunity to pastor, particularly in Connecticut and in South Carolina, for how we've received everyone into our congregation, no matter what challenges or opportunities they bring with them to the congregation, and I think that's important. I would say to pastors that if we are really being truthful to the gospel we preach, that the church is for all persons, then we got to make it for all people. And we want to be inclusive, and we want people to feel comfortable wherever they are. And church is a reflection of our community. We want our church to reflect what our community has in it. And I wish there was more we could do to enlarge the tent for everybody and make sure that people receive the gospel wherever they are. That's our challenge, and we've got to do that.
Have you seen, just out of curiosity, have you seen stories about?
I have, yeah, and it hurts, because people leave the church then and think that all churches are like that,
are the same,
and we
and
are
they're
not. We're not created equal. You know what I'm saying? It was like, but I would hope that our community, especially ministers, especially those who are going through seminaries and other opportunities and workshops, are learning how to really include everybody in the worship experience. Our team works very hard in creating worship services, making sure that, yes, they're not too long, the themes are right, so that everybody can gain something from the worship experience themselves.
And I just want to say thank you to you, as well as Shaw Temple, for always being inclusive. Coleman has his communication device.
Oh, yes.
And he participates. If you all go to my
love it.
page, you'll see where there's been times that he's participated in the service. And that means a lot to him. I'm not going to lie to you, Pastor. Some
Really?
Sundays I wake up and I'm like, I do not feel like going to church today. I want to be virtual, but your boy, he comes
ahead,
in
Coleman.
there.
That's
he
right.
He used to come on Sunday and be on his wife's church Sunday, and I'll say, "Oh well, it's gonna take us too long to get ready." Come up with an excuse. Homeboy got smart and he started asking me on Saturday and Friday, "Oh, church tomorrow, church Sunday." I'm like, "Dang, what can I say now?" So I got to get ready. So you know what? Don't give me the credit for getting us to church. You got to give the credit to Coleman.
Listen, the Bible says, "And a child shall lead them."
Yep, they should. So I'll close with this. Autism caregiving isn't a season for many families. It is a lifelong journey.
Yeah.
What spiritual truths or practices help someone not just survive today, but actually build a kind of deep-rooted resilience that sustains them for years?
I would say it's your community because you're going to give out by yourself. But it's the community that helps you. It's kind of like the one of the scriptures I used was Jeremiah 17, I believe it was, where it talks about being like a tree planted or trees planted by the rivers. The roots interconnect. Psalms as well is gives that same wording, those metaphors about the community that you have, the roots that you have. And the roots begin to intertwine with each other and they hold each other up. So even in this, you need other trees, other persons that will help hold you up, and that helps you sustain over the years and the seasons as they come and go. You're not by yourself. That's the biggest thing. I had fainted unless I believed to see the goodness of the Lord. Well, what is the goodness of the Lord? The goodness of the Lord is not, you're not by yourself. That you are on this faith journey with others, and that keeps us from giving up, keeps us from throwing in the towel, from fainting in the midst of all that we're going through. So I would say it's the community, it's building the community around you and making sure that you've got people around you who share your faith, who know the vision, and who can support you.
And I'm glad you said that, because we have what's called the Real Autism Community, which is a community base, so you won't be alone, that other autism caregivers, parents, guardians can join. And during that community, we do Q&A where you can just come on and ask whatever questions you want to ask. We have expert speakers that will come and speak. So I didn't even tell you to say that. Look at that.
Look at that. That's God.
That's God. That was a good commercial right there, Pastor. But I want to say thank you for keeping my family grounded, and tell the people where they can find you, because I'm going to tell you, Shaw Temple does a good job at supporting my family, and I'm pretty sure that we can support yours. So share with them where they can find you and what Shaw Temple has to offer.
Shaw Temple, 775 Hurt Road in Smyrna, Georgia. We're at the corner of Hurt and Hicks Road. You can join us at 8 a.m. or 11 a.m. on Sunday mornings. You can watch us. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. We're here for you in the community, Cobb County and Fulton County, all surrounding areas. We certainly hope to be a church where everyone feels welcomed and everyone receives the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Well, thank you so much, Pastor, for being on the podcast. I appreciate you. And thank you for joining us today on The Real Autism Podcast, where we share relevant, effective, actionable living strategies and solutions. I will see you next time.